Hey everybody, I'm Chad Taylor with the Vegas Podcast, and today I am here with Mandi Elliott, and she is the Executive Director of the Nevada Outdoor Business Coalition. And with all transparency, I am lucky to be a board member and follow the leadership of this young lady.
And we're happy and lucky to have you.
It's a true joy. Mandi, how are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited for you to be here as well because I think there are a lot of people in the state of Nevada that want to know about what you do. Mm-hmm. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about Mandi.
Okay.
I always like to know who I'm talking to first. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot more about you I get to learn.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, where did Mandi grow up?
So I grew up in Houston, and I went to college in South Florida, met my husband, moved to the Midwest for a little bit, and then we've been here for about 2.5 years now.
2.5 years in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. So far, so good.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah. I mean, I think I was meant to be here.
I believe you were meant to be here as well. Mm-hmm. So Texas.
Yes.
To Florida.
Yes.
What'd you do in Florida?
I went to college. I went to a little tiny Christian college. Like the whole campus was like 2 blocks. And after the fact, I got my degree in elementary education. And I count my blessings every day that I didn't end up in public school. Right. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just honestly don't think I'm cut out for it.
I give it up to teachers. My wife works with a lot of teachers, and the stories and the challenges that teachers face, I would agree with you there.
Absolutely, yeah. And I have so much respect for anyone who works in education in any form. Right. Just wasn't meant to be for me.
Right, which is why we support them.
Yes.
So we do a lot of work with CCSD and try to work with a lot of the teachers and support them as much as possible. And we're going to go in and take these youth out of the classroom and put them outdoors.
Yes.
So that's actually on the list.
Yes.
All right. So from Florida to Vegas, 2.5 years here, and you have a day job.
I do.
Here, which is kind of a cool one. Tell me a little bit about how you landed that, where you're at.
Yes. So when I was in the Midwest, before I moved to Vegas, I was lucky enough to get a job in our local economic development office. Okay. I didn't know what economic development was, had no idea. It just said, the job application said marketing coordinator. I was like, I think I can do that. I applied, I got the job. It was great. And I was introduced to this whole industry that I didn't even know existed. And just fell in love with it, right? Economic development is so fascinating, and it touches so many parts of everyone's lives. Right. So it took my whole, being, and I've wanted to work in it ever since. So when my husband and I decided to move to Vegas, I was like, okay, I have to stay working in economic development. Also in the coolest city in the whole world, right? Right? And I discovered that UNLV has an Office of Economic Development, and they had some open jobs. So I applied. And my now supervisor, Albert, reached out to me, and he was like, yeah, we got a job for you. So I started working in the UNLV Office of Economic Development as a small business advisor with their SBDC. And I won't get into the hierarchy of all of that because it's like really confusing, even for me. And I've worked there for 2.5 years. Right. But my day job is I advise small businesses or entrepreneurs who even don't have their business yet, but maybe are looking to get into it, and kind of help them through the journey of becoming a business owner or an entrepreneur, right?
Really?
It's it can be very complicated for someone who has never done it before. Even for someone who is a serial entrepreneur, maybe they're getting into a new industry, maybe they're opening a different type of business. It can all get really confusing.
Where do you get your people from? Like, how do you find people that you help?
Yeah, so we have a lot of funnels with, the state of Nevada, the Secretary of State, GoEd, even just some, resource partners. Okay. But primarily, people will encounter us if they're going online and they Google, how do I start a business? Our website's probably going to come up. And that's the Nevada SBDC.
Because it's under UNLV and they have some pretty good SEO.
Yeah. And I mean, our organization has been around for decades, right? Even in Nevada, we've been around for 40 years. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes. We still refer to ourselves as the best kept secret. But,
Right.
we do have some kind of like with, longstanding brand.
Okay, cool. So they're going to get a hold of you in one way or another. And you've been there for 2.5 years. You're
Yes.
enjoying it.
Yes.
That's the day. We all have day jobs and we all have boards and different things we do on the outside.
Yes.
So then tell me what does the journey look like to this project, this Nevada
Yeah.
Outdoor Business Coalition?
So because of my love for economic development and entrepreneurship, I guess that's in one box, right? Not only is that just a part of my career, it's something that I genuinely am passionate about. On the other side, right, more of a personal side, I love outdoor recreation and the outdoor industry. And part of the reason my husband and I moved to Vegas is because, no hate to the Midwest, there's just not a lot of outdoor recreation. And I mean, you can see if you look up like, public land maps
Yeah.
of the US, the Midwest is just blank.
I just spent a week in Nebraska with the state parks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of corn,
It's a lot of corn. Yeah.
cornfields, rolling hills,
A lot of farmland.
a lot of river, the Missouri. Yeah. But
But-
outdoor rec, no.
Not a lot of outdoor recreation.
Okay.
And that's probably, I'm sure that there are going to be people who are like, well, I live here and there's this and that's, it's not like there's no public
Yeah.
land. The county that we lived in, there was 2 acres of public land in the entire county, which is incredible.
So you actually moved here for the outdoor recreation. What do
Exactly.
you do? What does Mandi do for outdoor recreation?
I rock climb primarily.
Okay.
But I like to say that, outdoor recreators, if you like one thing, you probably like a lot of things. And so, rock climbing is my primary sport, but I love to paddleboard and I'll take my e-bike out and do a little commute or go hiking or whatever
Right.
it is. I always like to try new things.
Okay.
So I'm open to anything, but primarily my husband and I and our friends, we all rock climb.
Awesome.
So, love of outdoor rec, wanting to have that more accessible in our everyday lives. And I really was interested in kind of coupling those things together. There were a lot of other, there are a lot of other states that I knew about who had these outdoor business alliances and, divisions of outdoor recreation. And I was like, I wonder if Nevada has one. And so I found the Nevada Outdoor Business Coalition.
Okay.
It was already in existence before I moved to Vegas. And so I reached out to our then board president, Megan Wolf with Patagonia. And I was like, hey,
Yeah,
Can I-
she's cool.
she's great.
I can't wait to get to know her more.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Love her to death. But I reached out and I was like, hey, can I be a part of your group? And, one thing led to another and I applied to be the executive director and I got the job and it's like the best job ever.
Seems like every job you apply for, you just get.
Well, I
are
make
that
it sound
good.
I make it sound like really, for all of my, fellow believers out there, I give all the glory to God, but it's
For sure. So this is awesome. So from how I've seen you operate so far, I can understand why you got all the jobs. So Nevada Outdoor Business Coalition
yes.
is a charity or nonprofit that's a 501c3
Yes,
in the
correct.
state of Nevada.
Yes.
And so we're just cleared so that everybody knows.
Yes.
And I'm going to make sure it seeks funding through grants. It seeks funding through memberships.
Yes.
Any other funding mechanisms currently?
I would say, a lot of my experience comes from private sector.
Right.
So forgive me if I fudge this. Primarily what we're looking for is government funding, grants, or membership dues. Those are our
Okay.
kind of primary funding
The
streams.
3, which is perfect.
Yes.
So there are a lot of grants out there. We've noticed that the outdoor recreation space, there's a lot flying around.
Yes.
And not a lot of people understand it or have access to it or can see it, but you
Yes.
see it all.
Yes.
Because you see it all and you say to
Yes.
yourself, how come more people are not taking advantage of this?
Right. And where I think that the Nevada Outdoor Business Coalition in particular has a really great unique value is we service for-profit entities, right? We also partner with nonprofits, but we are here for the business, right?
Okay.
That's something that I feel like is a really underutilized, I guess, I don't know what the word is. It's a calling card, right? Our public lands and outdoor recreation opportunities are so positively impactful to our economies.
Right.
But I don't think that our actual industry gets a lot of support. So that's where the coalition comes in. And we want to be of support to the businesses in the industry that help people access the public lands that we have.
Got it.
Yeah.
So whether you're a new business or whether you're an existing business,
Yes.
you're in the outdoor recreation space,
Yes.
or you want to get into the outdoor recreation space, the Nevada Outdoor Business Coalition would be like a number one stop.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Especially if you're looking to get connected or have warm introductions or network with people in the industry. That's what we are here to do. More to come, but that's, we're a connector.
You're a connector for sure. So I wrote a couple things down because I wanted to make points on. So tell me if this is correct. But the industry of outdoor recreation drives $1 trillion in spending, just approached $1 trillion or just bypassed $1 trillion.
Yes. So our most recent economic data shows that we drive over $1 trillion in economic spend across the country. Massive industry.
Nevada specifically, 12.6 billion.
That one, I think it was 6 billion. So you might be boosting our numbers there. Not sure about that, but I know we account for about 2% of our state's entire economy.
GDP.
Yes.
Okay, and then we create in the outdoor recreation space is almost 90,000 jobs. 87,000 was listed. It was listed. Yeah, it was listed, and it said we create almost 80,000 jobs. Third behind gaming, tourism, then outdoor rec for the state of Nevada.
I hope that I don't remember. You're quoting some statistics, and now I'm getting. Whoa, is that true?
It's
That's
okay
crazy.
because you're really good at this, and I pulled some of this from some of the leads you had given me, and I thought that was enormous. That gaming, tourism, then outdoor rec. So that would put us, 400,000 employees in hospitality, and tourism, and then 90,000, and then you get into like medical and IT, and those are less than the outdoor rec space.
Well, and that is the key, that outdoor recreation, regardless of the nitty gritty numbers, we outweigh a lot of industries in our state.
Right.
And when you talk about like a top 10 or even top 5 industry in our state, that is such a huge part of the pie, right? That it would be really remiss to not pay attention or support or drive investment into whatever industry that is, right? And outdoor rec obviously is very important to me, but also it's just important to the state's economy, right? And that's, like you're saying,
important to the state's economy. And then when I think about 80,000, 90,000 jobs, our youth, they don't see these jobs posted typically places, or it's not something that you would normally see or even maybe know where to go.
Right.
But that's a lot of jobs. That's just not going to the casino or going to the strip and working or getting a job down the street from your house. I mean, there's an enormous amount of employment just outside of the city in outdoor recreation.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And a lot of that comes from like our state and federally managed lands, but also from entrepreneurship and business ownership.
Yes.
And I'll give you a crazy stat. Over 90% of Nevadans are employed by or own a small business. Over 90% of our workforce is affiliated in some way, working or owning a small business. And so if we don't invest in our small businesses, again, outdoor recreation or otherwise, that's a huge, the vast majority of our labor force that's going unsupported.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's incredible. So that, to your point about youth maybe not seeing visually these jobs that are being posted.
And the opportunities.
Yeah. I think it is because a lot of it is small business or also government.
Is there any site, like would a typical job posting site be a good one for this? Or would there be another place that is the industry, the outdoor rec industry? Is there like a posting place or where people can look for outdoor rec jobs? Younger generation?
Yes, for the country. No for Nevada, unfortunately.
Okay.
And I think it's just because Nevada we're really unique, and I also think that kind of silos us a smidge. Okay. I think Nevadans tend to be Nevada focused. There is a great job, I don't know what the word is, pool, right? Where employers can post jobs and applicants can go look for jobs in the outdoor industry. Thank you. It's called Basecamp Outdoor Jobs.
I've heard of it. Basecamp.
Yes. Jenna Kelmer, please forgive me if I'm saying that wrong, but she is a fantastic female entrepreneur. Her and her co-founder have created this space. It started out as a Facebook group, and it's really blossomed into this whole enterprise. But that's, if you want to get into the outdoor industry, again, not necessarily Nevada, but just across the country, that's a fantastic place to do it. And just learn about other businesses that are out there, doing cool stuff.
Right, because in the rural areas and even outside of Vegas, I hear constantly about people hiring for outdoor rec, and it's just different than how the city operates.
Right.
And and people don't understand it. So so base camp is what it's called.
Base
I'll make
camp,
sure to list it in the podcast notes.
Absolutely, yeah. And if you're a Nevada employer, post your jobs there.
Right?
We need more Nevada representation on that site.
All right, fair enough. We can push that for sure.
Yeah.
So why should small or large organizations, outdoor or outdoor supporting, get involved with Nevada Outdoor Business Coalition?
Yeah. So I think that two things come to mind immediately, and I'm sure as I start talking, I'll think of probably some more points.
Don't worry, I listed 5 for you just in case.
Fantastic. So the first one is connections, right? Because part of my job is to know everybody in the game.
Right.
And so if someone is starting a business, or if they are, they have their existing business and they're looking for connections to certain resources, information, whatever.
Right.
That's where I come in, or that's where our board comes in. And we can help you get connected to the person that you're either looking for, or the person who can help you solve your problem.
Okay.
The other thing that I would say is, if you feel it on your heart to do any kind of advocacy, we're a great way to do that, because we're constantly advocating for public land issues, conservation issues, climate issues. And by being a member of us, you're automatically, signed on to the initiatives that we stand behind.
Right.
So we're also a really great way, again, if you have any kind of philanthropic heart, we're a great way to do that. We make it very easy for you.
Well put.
No,
well
thank you.
put, 10,000-foot view. So something that I noticed, and again, I listed them, important for me. Like, number one, I thought, well, if you reach out or become a part of the Nevada Outdoor Business Coalition, you're going to get some swag for sure. I was like, what's the most important? Like, am I going to get like a really...
We'll get you a t-shirt.
We'll give me a t-shirt or something? No, but so Hydro Flask, is that what they're called?
Yes.
Yeah, they're called Hydro Flask. So my wife's Hydro Flask hydrates the entire family, right? Like hers refills itself constantly.
Yeah.
So they keep trying to get me one, but I just won't have one because it's an admission of something that I don't even know what it is yet, but it feeds us all. String of swag. Keeping you informed, I thought was a really important one.
Absolutely,
right? Something that I've noticed just being part of the board now is that I'm much more informed, and you put out a newsletter and I get to understand what's going on. So that was really important.
Yes.
Providing access to people in the know.
Yes. That's the big one. That's the connectivity one. And thank you for shouting out the newsletter, because I put a lot of work into that.
Yes, you have. And I think it's great. And I think people will really benefit from it.
Yes.
And also not just the reaching out to those that are in the know and the proximity that we are to legislators and policymakers and people that make things happen. They're a phone call or two away. So that's important if you're an outdoor business. But I also think to get the ideas from the community, if you are a small business or want to be in the small business, you have ideas and you want to go somewhere, it's very easy access to get your voice heard.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. And that, again, goes to like our advocacy efforts, right? I categorize us as a chamber of commerce. And so we are business focused, but we use the power of the industry and the size and the leverage to help shape the future of the industry, right?
Right.
And we want Nevada to continue to be friendly to the outdoor spaces, the outdoor businesses, outdoor recreation. And the easiest way, the fastest way we can do that is by leveraging the industry voices.
Right.
And I hate to say it because I feel like it's a cliche. Money talks, right? And so if we can say, here's how outdoor recreation is good for the economy and it benefits your government's bottom line or however you want to phrase it, then they're more likely to listen.
No, there's power in groups. When Lake Mead had an issue, we organized pretty quickly through 3 or 4 different groups, and that organization reached the Senate very quickly.
Yeah.
And we were able to stop some things that started to happen that we didn't like That was powerful. So
Yes.
if you are in the outdoor recreation space, I think it's huge. Not to mention help for small business funding and grants, which is
Yes.
something that you're working on.
It is.
Tell me a little bit about what you're working on there.
Yes. So because of both of my jobs really, being so small business and entrepreneurial focused, I have noticed, I guess unfortunately, that there is a huge gap in like access to capital, right? If you go to a bank, they're not going to want to talk to you unless you're asking for $2 million or better. Your business has been around for 5 years and you've been profitable since the day that you opened, right? I mean, it is impossible. And so you look for alternative resources, you look for CDFIs, you look for community development, resources, whatever, pots of money. And so few of them exist. And so one of the really big like calls to action for me, something I felt passionate about is, well, if we want to support the industry, we kind of have to put our money where our mouth is, and get another pot of money that these entrepreneurs can access, right? Okay. So I went to the USDA and I asked them, hey, do you have any resources? Like, how can I get some money for this? And they were very kind and they talked me through like how I can apply for a grant for a revolving loan fund. Got it. Essentially means the coalition's going to have a pot of money that, fingers crossed, will be given to us by the USDA. And we can dish out that money to businesses who apply. They're going to be like micro loans. I talk about this like it's going to happen. I'm trying to manifest it.
No, but you have to manifest it for sure.
I'm manifesting it.
Roll with it. Because there's somebody that's going to listen to this that's going to help you get there. I promise.
Exactly. Yes. So that's the plan. And really it all, came about like, we just need these entrepreneurs to have access to money to start their business or grow their business, expand their programming. And that's
there's a lot of opportunities out there. I can tell you right now, 3 opportunities by sitting on the board or and other boards that I've come across in Ely right now that I could say, if you want to start a business for yourself, you want to move to Ely, you want to be part of that growth, jump on there with Kyle up north there. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity.
Absolutely.
So that's very, very, very important.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Helping anyone looking for startup new business potential opportunities. Yes. The potential opportunities like the Kyle or the areas around Las Vegas, there's a lot of need that people don't know of, and you can help direct them in that manner too. So I think that's good. Yes. Create events. So you're going to create some events in a community. All right. So we're all part of a community. So I'm going to kind of go off my script here. Nobody wants to be part of another group. No one has to show up somewhere. No one wants to spend more of their time doing something. Nobody wants to be part of an organization that doesn't deliver something. Like there's so much out there. It really needs to be specific to your needs and what you want to do.
Absolutely.
So I want to say that is that if you are in outdoor recreation, you want to be in outdoor recreation. If you have ideas for outdoor recreation, if your business supports outdoor recreation and you want to be part of its growth, then the Nevada Outdoor Business Coalition is something that you want to be part of.
Yes.
And you've made it cost effective for companies like 10 and under employees. It's like $150
a year.
Right? A year.
Yeah.
A year.
Which for a chamber of commerce is very inexpensive.
Right. And I'm glad you said that. Picture this kind of like a chamber of commerce. And you pitched that and explained that very well.
Thank you.
It's like all of the business organized can have a voice. There's about 500 outdoor recreation businesses in the state of Nevada.
Yes.
I would say easily there's another 500 to 1,000 businesses that support those outdoor recreation companies.
Absolutely.
So if you can put together for the Nevada Outdoor Business Coalition, 500, 1,000, 1,500 voices in that space, now you have a voice when it comes to legislation, BLM, National Park, these agencies.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is the goal.
Yes. And that's something that we actually have been really good at since our inception, before I was involved. We had a hand in, number one, standing up the Nevada Division of Outdoor Recreation. That was something that Megan worked on, and even board members, that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting. Okay. But we were integral in that process, right? By doing business sign-on letters and having people speak to the importance of outdoor recreation to their livelihoods. Right. The other big win that we had was we, had our business sign-on letter in support for Aviquame. That was established as a national monument. Big deal, right? And those two things, I think, really show the impact that we can have by unifying the voices as a collective and saying, hey, this is really important to us and it's vital for our industry to remain operative.
Right.
Yeah.
So key. Mama, how are we doing on time? 26 minutes. Perfect. So
Yay.
try and go about 26 minutes. All right. So, okay. So I cut that out. So don't worry about that. So you really want to be part of this. Can you make it more fun for everybody? Let's say there's 500 outdoor businesses and we're going to have them all join up.
Yes.
And we're in Las Vegas. And it's northern and southern Nevada. So we got to do both. So
All
the
over
meeting
Nevada.
place in the middle has to be the Great Basin or Ely somewhere so that we can meet in the middle, right?
Yes.
But you have the newsletter, which is number one, keep them informed.
Yes.
Keep easy access
Yes.
to people.
Yeah.
You're going to be doing events locally
Yes.
and in
Yes.
northern Nevada.
So that is the current challenge, is that Nevada is such a big state.
Yes.
And we're very weirdly oriented, where we have so much of our population in Las Vegas, a smaller population in Reno, and then you have these communities sprinkled through rural Nevada that are equally as important, but so much smaller and, if I may say, harder to access, right? I mean, poor Kyle, our board president, Kyle Horvath, amazing human being,
Yes.
love him to death. He's got to drive 5 to 6 hours in either direction in
All the
order to
time.
attend anything, right? And there's no other way for him to get around.
Kyle, we're going to get you a helicopter.
Yeah, exactly. So that just kind of tells you, like, even for our board members, it is very difficult to be present in every community that we want to have an impact. I'd like to dabble a little bit in like virtual quarterly meetings so we can all get together on Zoom. It makes it easier for everyone to get in a room together.
And more members from all of those communities that maybe can help us.
Exactly, right? Because that's something that I don't want to miss out on, is someone in rural Nevada probably has really valuable information that I don't know because I'm local to Vegas. And so that information sharing regionally is also very important. But I have a hard time because, we're kind of, besides the board, it's kind of a one-man show.
Yeah.
Right now it's just me. And I also want to make it feel personal and valuable, and I don't want to waste anybody's time. So that's
and you did. You put the first event together.
Yes.
So you had a coffee somewhere, right?
Yeah, so we did.
Where was it?
It was at Aspire Coffee House, one of our members, and who represents our supporting business tier, right?
Okay.
Our membership doesn't have to just be gear shops, right?
Give me an example of that. So let's Aspire. Let's
Aspire
call them out
Coffee
exactly
House.
what it is. So they're a coffee house.
They're a coffee house.
And they're a member.
They're a member.
So they have nothing to do with outdoor rec, but they're a supporter of outdoor rec.
Yes, because they're up in Sky Canyon.
Okay.
And they have this beautiful coffee shop in a community center up there. And they, just by nature of their positioning, like their location, they see a lot of outdoor recreators as clientele, right? A lot of bike riders, a lot of people out walking their dogs, a lot of people going swimming, all forms of outdoor recreation. And so because they recognize that, they've been very generous to support us and become a member.
Nice.
And also their founders, Lynetta and, oh my goodness, I want to say Leslie. I don't think that that's right. I apologize. But their founders do a fantastic job of, like, we want to be supporters of outdoor recreation. We personally love outdoor recreation. We're going to put our business behind it.
Awesome.
And yeah, they're phenomenal. So they hosted us, and we had a great get together of about 10 to 12 folks on a Thursday night, and we all just had a nice chat. We had someone from City of Las Vegas come, and yeah, it was great. It was a great time.
All right, fantastic. So you're gonna do more of those.
Yes.
At least maybe one a quarter to start for now.
We're aiming for quarterly. I think that's a good momentum because we want to be consistent.
I'll help you with locations.
Thank you. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Yeah, I think being consistent is important, and I think quarterly is a good.
Yeah, maybe
good
we could do the
speed.
next one out on a houseboat or something. That way, it's a little treat, and then people will actually.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, and then
Well,
maybe the coffee house can serve coffee. You never
yes, and to that point, I think doing some things that are a little more exciting, like, would be really cool. Again, hard for one person to put together, but in partnership with you and our other board members, I'd love to do a gala. Right, like we do a fundraiser event, something that's a little more luxurious, a little more fun, and we use that as a way to not only help elevate the coalition's voice, but also the membership's voice. Right. So
Fair enough. So very important, and I think there's two or three they call BDRs. I'm learning this. This is government language. It's called a BDR. It's
BDR.
like, right? It's like
I've heard about before.
Yeah, me neither. A BDR, it's like some sort of submission to legislation to change things within our state. And I know that there's a couple of them, and in simplified terms for a layman like me, one of them that we're pushing after, the Nevada Outdoor Business Coalition, is mandating a certain amount of time outside for youth in the Clark County School District.
I love that.
I believe. I'm paraphrasing, but that's how I read it.
Okay.
Okay. So if anybody is listening to this and is interested in help getting our youth outdoors and kind of pushing that in the school districts, then that is something that we're supporting. I think there's also additional credits, some sort of system that gives additional credits for outdoor rec activities in schools.
Oh, fantastic.
Which is, I think, something you've mentioned to me before, too, is like, how can they get credits for doing outdoor recreation?
Oh, absolutely.
So there's some sort of program, and the specifics will come, but that's kind of the broad language.
Yeah.
And then, I specifically work on getting youth outdoors continuously.
Yes.
So I think one of the reasons that I'm so excited about this is I'm going to help you with growing the membership, because I think that the people that I run with and my followings are definitely into helping the youth, and they definitely want to get the youth outdoors.
Absolutely.
So any capacity that I can help from that, you better believe I'm going to do it. So if you're watching this or you know me, you definitely know I'm coming at you and going to get you on board with Mandi and her leadership and Kyle's leadership and the rest of the people on the team. Denise is on the team, who is absolutely amazing as well. And a few others that I haven't met personally, but you have Mount Rose?
Yes, Mount Rose. So that's Greg. Greg he's phenomenal. He and Dan also with Lee Canyon. So we've got our snow sports.
Right.
And yeah, they're fantastic. Both of them. Very thankful to have them on board. And I'm glad you brought up getting youth outside, because so much of what I hear around, like, oh, what are the problems that we're experiencing with outdoor recreation, is like a lack of education about how to recreate responsibly, how to take care of the places that you're going, leave no trace, things like that.
Right.
And if we can expose our youth to that early, that's going to alleviate so much of the problem that we're experiencing.
Yeah. Nature heals all.
Amen. So, like, not only are we going to help, the kids themselves are going to experience great benefits from this, also our land is going to as well, right? Because there are a lot of people who go outdoors who don't necessarily know how to be nice to our outdoors.
Right. We got to teach them. Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Absolutely.
All right. So thank you for coming on, number one.
Oh.
I think we got quite a bit of information out. Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you think is very important for anybody watching this or wants to know more about the Nevada Outdoor Business Coalition?
Yeah, I think I'll just say this is kind of my, maybe a call to action is the right phrase. But if you are a business in the outdoor space, or if you are a person who recreates, you have an obligation to take care of the places that you're recreating. And like I mentioned before, the Nevada Outdoor Business Coalition is a great place to do that. If you become a member with us, we do a lot of that advocating for you and a lot of that conservation for you. So not only are we kind of alleviating that workload, but also you're, fulfilling your obligation. We can't have the industry if we don't have the space. So
true. Yeah,
I'll leave it at that.
You got to take. That's where they say, Chad, you have motorboats, and that's not good for the water because the gasoline and it spills. And I said, listen, if we don't take care of the water around our marinas, then we don't have marinas to operate out of. So trust me, when it comes to preservation, it's top priorities. I mean, all of our marinas are clean marinas.
Absolutely,
so
we should be first in line to do that. Yeah.
All right. So outside of that,
yes,
on a personal note,
yes,
you get to stand up in front of a class of 6th through 12th graders.
Yes.
And you get to talk to them a little bit about the outdoor space or some advice that you would have at your current place, at your current timeline in the world.
Yes.
What would you say to this group?
Yeah.
From like a mentoring capacity?
I would say don't be afraid or intimidated to try a new activity. And the reason that I say that is because I'm 28 years old. I only started rock climbing 3 years ago. And it was incredibly scary, not only just because it's a little scary,
right.
But also it can feel a little elitist. And I'll say that as, someone who participates in rock climbing,
right.
It can feel very elitist. And I know that goes for any kind of outdoor sport,
right.
Recreation activity ever. Don't let that stop you from trying something that you want to try, right? mountain biking scares the heck out of me. And I'm probably going to be really slow going on the trails. And some people might get irritated at me for being a beginner, but that's okay. I'm going to do it anyway. And I think everyone should go into things with that kind of energy. Is like, it's okay that I'm a beginner and I'm slow. I'm going to do it anyway.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
Try something new. And there are resources. If there's anything that anybody wants to try, if you have family, you got kids, I promise you, if you want to try something, there is a resource for you to try that outdoor recreation.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Especially for kids. I think, you know, people are a lot more forgiving to the youth, more so than they are to adults. But either way, I mean, just try something. There's someone out there who's going to help you.
All right. And last question.
Yes.
If there's anything you could do or anybody you could meet in the next 6 months in Las Vegas or in Nevada, a bucket list, something that you've been meaning to, wanting to, what would it be?
So someone put a bug in my ear about this a long time ago, and it's stuck with me ever since. And I will wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning in a cold sweat thinking about this. I would love to meet someone from the Vegas Golden Knights team. Not like the hockey team, but like the people behind it, right?
Okay.
They're doing so much cool community development activity.
They're trailblazers.
They are so incredible. And I'm like, can I partner with you? I probably don't have that much to offer you, but like, you guys are so cool. And I love how Vegas has just rallied around them.
Right.
You know, from the get-go, they inspire me so much. And they've turned me from like not interested in sports at all to like a diehard VGK fan. So
that's a huge kudos.
Yeah.
And I second that. They really are blazing trails, and they are doing so much amazing work. So we're going to make sure that we figure out how that happens.
I know. And they have a foundation too. I'm like, hi, I see that you're interested in youth. How can we do this?
Everybody wants to work with the best, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
their job is to get people into sports and hockey, and our job is to get people outdoors.
Absolutely,
but I don't think there isn't some sort of work you can do together. Maybe you can put the hockey team out on a houseboat and you can meet them there or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Hint, hint. All right, we'll figure it out.
Absolutely.
All right, awesome. I thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
We'll do this more. We'll figure out how to make it like a quarterly thing.
Absolutely.
Or whatever it is.
I love that.
I appreciate you. I thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody, that's the Vegas Podcast. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Yes. See you next time.
Yay.